Hey, so this video is going to help us to better understand our brand, be it personal or business, and enable us to improve our brand storytelling so that we can appeal to our ideal audience. And the way that we're going to do this is by using this sentence right here. People like us do things like this. It was Seth Godin that wrote this, and I know that it looks very simple, but it runs deep. But if you can satisfy it and answer it for your own context, you'll have a big advantage over others in your category. People like us do things like this is powerful because it sums up the identity of a community, a tribe, or a brand. And in relation to identity, what it does is reinforce one that we already have or promises a transformation to a new, more desirable one. And as people, we have a deep fundamental need to fit in and associate with communities and tribes, to feel like we belong. So once we satisfy this sentence and can articulate our own people like us do things like this, it forms a really strong foundation for our marketing messaging. And what this means is that our marketing will have our own distinct colour. So rather than getting lost in the noise, it's a clear and powerful signal to like-minded people. And those are the people that we want to attract because they're more likely to value what it is that we do. So we're in a better position to serve them. And just to be clear, we tend not to articulate a lot of this consciously to ourselves. So for any brand, it's unlikely and maybe doesn't happen at all that a person will think to themselves, I want to be a part of that tribe. It's more a feeling that something's right for us, or a feeling that we're being pulled towards them, or just that their messaging seems to stand out and it gets our attention more than anything else. I was talking to somebody on my Instagram yesterday and she said that she'd been thinking about this sentence a lot, but she hadn't been able to answer it. That's because it's hard. It requires deep work. But the way into this sentence is through this word. It's us. How do we define our us? But to be able to answer that, we must first know ourselves. And by that, I mean, what do you believe in relation to what it is you do? How do you approach it? What do you think it can be for, or what do you think the impact of what you do could be? So let's say that you're a designer. What do you believe design is for? What impact can great design have on a person or a business? And what's the transformation you believe it can make? There are no wrong answers to this. It just has to be authentically you and should tie into the change or impact that your product or service can make. And that's what's hard, because these things are things that we don't tend to intellectualize, but they exist inside us already. So we have to discover what's inside of ourselves in relation to our work and define it. And just to be clear, we're not looking at this stage at specific products or services. So for example, if we're in the beauty brand, we're not looking for beliefs around what a particular bottle of lotion can do for a customer, but more the general area of beauty products in general. So what could the impact be? What do you believe the potential is for beauty products to transform people? Charles Revson, who's the founder of Revlon, said, "In the factory we make cosmetics, and in the store we sell hope." That's what he believes the impact of cosmetics can be, to provide hope, the promise of a better future, one where we look better and feel better than we do now. So this is about your unique perspective, the category that you work in through your unique lens. And that's why it's so valuable. Let's take the body coach Joe Wicks. People like us do things like this runs deeply throughout his brand. People like us do things like this. We train, we eat well, we have positive energy, we're grateful. All coloured through his personality and the way that he tells that story. Over the years, Joe's amassed a global community of like-minded people because he signals it so strongly in his marketing. It's in his unique way, and it's authentic because he's just expressing what he believes. And so must you if you want to stand apart. Joe's business is in the fitness category. How many other fitness trainers are there? Too many to count, right? But how many Joe Wickses are there? There's just one. And that makes the point that through his marketing, which is mostly his social media, he's signaling people like us do things like this. What he does and how he does it appeals to some people and it repels others. And that's okay because we only want to attract like-minded folk, because that's how we build a tribe a community, or a brand. People like us do things like this. And there are other people for those that aren't into Joe's stuff or the way that he does things. And that's okay. But for those that are, he's either reinforcing an existing identity that people have or promising to transform people so they have a new, more desirable identity. So what can we learn from this? First of all, you don't have to be Joe, you don't have to be Tesla, Nike, Patagonia or Apple to have a strong brand. Anybody who puts in the work can develop their own distinctive brand. You just need to understand what you believe in relation to what you do. Understand what you believe is possible in terms of your category, the impact or the change it can make, and why your category is important to you. Why are you passionate about it? Phil Knight's the founder of Nike, and he was very passionate about athletics. And just look how that's been translated into the DNA of that brand. Because that's the next step, that's brand storytelling. Once you've defined your own set of beliefs around what you do, we then look at ways to translate that through our messaging. And if we do this well and consistently, we'll start appealing to like-minded people, people like us. So I'm going to talk you through a quick example of how I apply this to my own content. So what I am trying to do is make effective marketing effective to brands of all sizes by making complicated ideas easy to understand and action. And whether I do this is through breaking ideas down, making images, using motion graphics to aid understanding. And I do that because what I believe about marketing is that anyone can do highly effective marketing with the right tools and training. I believe that you don't have to be Nike or Apple to have a strong brand, that if you know the right things and you apply them consistently, you can build your own valuable and distinctive brand without a multi-million-pound budget. The work that I do is for people and brands who believe or are open to believing that they can do great marketing. People who are willing to learn and develop themselves with the right knowledge. And maybe these people know that they have a lot of potential locked in their business, but don't yet know how to unlock it. So my hope is that what I put out provides ideas and tools to help them unlock that potential that they know is there. And perhaps most fundamentally, these people believe that what they do can genuinely make a difference in their customers' lives, which is important to me because it means they're more likely to have the dedication to learn and better themselves. Now, I don't know who these people are. I don't have a list of hundreds and thousands of people like this. So what I have to do is create content that expresses what I believe, but in a way that adds value to my audience. And that's your challenge. Be clear on what you believe around what it is that you do. Then consistently create content that's an expression of that, but in a way that educates, entertains, or inspires your audience. Some won't be interested in what you're saying, but that's okay because simply it's just not for them. But others are going to listen and they'll want to know more. Because what you'd be doing with your messaging, if you do all of this work, is sending a clear signal that people like us do things like this. Thanks for taking the time to watch, and a big hat tip to the genius that is Seth Godin for writing this sentence.